All right. Hello? All right. All right. Okay. I think things are good. I think, right? Is it all good? Looks good to me. All right. As you've seen in the title, I'm going to be reacting to the 21 greediest things in video games by Top 5 Gaming T5G. Very good channel. Go subscribe to them after this. Okay, so let's get going. I don't know what is in this video, so let's hope it's nothing super inappropriate, I guess.
If I launched a video game and saw a $30 price tag on this, I'm on its
Oh my God.
So many players pay for it.
Is that actually one of the things?
So outrageous, they'll even charge you to save your game. And that's not even the greediest thing I've found in games. Metal Gear Solid 5 is by all things considered incredible, but it has one of the worst examples of pay to win. So it's a single player game, but there's online features that invite other players to invade your lobby. Now players are accusing them of doing this for profit, because you see, you get these bases called fobs, and they're your central way to store items and resources.
Yeah, okay.
However, enemy players can straight up raid it and steal your stuff while you're not playing.
Yeah.
And of course, there is a way to prevent it. Simply open your wallet and you'll get MB coins to buy insurance.
What? Okay. Alright. So, I know that's like, yeah, something like, alright, that's greedy, but like, if we're starting it off with this, paying to secure your things that people can steal, and I think stealing things, that's okay, like, that's something normal, that's something that's always happening, right? That's like paying, like, that's like playing the online Black Flag and paying to have people not kill you. That's the point of the game, and you can just pay to have it not happen. This is just the first one. Like, what are the, like, what's number 21 gonna be? Is it ordered in how greedy it is? Let me turn my volume down so I can just like.
Defense, you can get coins from daily bonuses, but it's a grind, and it forces most people to just
Yeah.
spend real cash. Now talk about Tekken 7.
Just grind.
The most disgusting microtransaction I've ever heard of. In fighting games like this, each character has an advantage based on their animations.
Yeah.
Basically, you can throw a quick punch, and the time it takes is different for every fighter. Well, if you want to actually know this information and discover how many frames are in each attack, Bandai Namco literally charges you $3.
Bro.
If you're slightly a competitive player, you had to get this.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
such a greedy decision that the DLC was bombarded with negative.
And even if that did exist, why $3? That's just a weird price. Like, if you're gonna be greedy, make it more expensive at least.
reviews.
I'm not complaining though.
At
least it's only $3.
Situation happening in the industry is $80 game.
Oh yeah. Let me talk about this for a second. I think it was very smart to get a Switch, because now since there are a lot of games on it, right? And I didn't get it a while ago. Got it like 4 or 5 years ago. So I still have a lot more games to get. So I won't feel like I have to get the Switch too, which is good because I'm not paying $80 to get Mario Kart World or whatever it's called. Like, 8 Deluxe is okay. It's fine. And I already have to spend money to get more maps on 8 Deluxe, so why would I spend money to get the maps and then spend money to get the game? Like, $80 games is such a stupid idea.
Publisher to come out and start.
Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
Basically all worried that developers will see it and hop on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
So fans of Borderlands 4 have been begging the Gearbox CEO to make sure it's not that expensive, and his response was jaw-dropping.
I want to play Borderlands.
If you're a real fan,
Might play it on the channel sometime.
My local store had Starflight for $80 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage, and I still found a way to make it.
Oh!
Basically called his own fans broke.
Oh my!
It's one way to.
Oh my God! Does he want people to stop playing Borderlands? I mean, people are probably not gonna stop playing Borderlands, but that is brutal. Dang.
But it's It's still not as messed up as Resident Evil Village, charging you to play in third person.
What?
They released the Winter's expansion for
I might be wrong, but isn't Resident Evil a third-person game? Right?
for the game. It came with a ton of stuff.
Wait, hold up, wait. Yeah, it actually says third-person mode. Look, Shadows of Rose, the Mercenaries Additional Order, and third-person mode.
Winter's expansion for the game. It came with a ton of stuff, including a 3-hour-long DLC mission that's exclusively in third person. That's fine, except they also updated the base game to allow you to play this entirely in the new camera view. Only issue is, you had to buy the DLC to unlock this, which
That's $15? Wait, what if some people like get motion sick from first person? I know my parents tried playing Minecraft and they got super motion sick. Like if you get motion sick from first person, I'm not playing that game if you have to charge $15 to stop being motion sick when you're playing your favorite game. That's stupid.
Not to mention, Resident Evil is historically a third-person franchise.
Yeah,
so it felt
I knew it was third person. I knew it.
Just to unlock this. A lot of players consider third person an accessibility option because it helps with motion sickness. So it's just
that's
a
actually
slap in the face.
yeah. That's what I was saying. Oh, come on! Gosh darn.
Now, first person, it also has downsides that scam you. In Black Ops 6, the developer sold the $20 weapon called the Occult. They took off the scope.
Oh, I think I've heard of this. Yeah, I heard of this.
But the second that I start firing,
Yeah.
the blueprint all of a sudden blocks my view, and it is incredibly hard to see, and it's just not practical.
Yeah.
These iron sights are straight up laughable. Did none of the devs even test this? Now, I will admit, microtransactions in a multiplayer FPS, they're expected at this point. What you don't want to see are payments thrown into a $60 single-player game. Yet in Assassin's Creed, this has been happening for years.
Yeah. This is why I don't get the new games. I'm gonna be too tempted. To get that beautiful unicorn ship skins. I'm too tempted. Not getting the new games.
And this gets even crazier when you hear Tales of Arise
Sticking to the
DLC
old games that are for some reason cheap. What? Wait, I wasn't paying attention.
DLC
But I was saying the older games, the older Assassin's Creed games, on Steam they're cheaper, which doesn't make sense because they are better. They are better. And they are pumping out sales on those games. I feel like every time I check, I got Black Flag for a 70% sale. And for some reason, now they're taking number 3, they're taking Assassin's Creed 3 off the market because the deluxe edition, the deluxe edition was glitching, so they took the entire Assassin's Creed 3 game off. So now you can only get the remastered, which is apparently worse. And then they're also just putting sales on every game. It said it was sorry. Said it was a promotional sale, but Black Flag did not need a promotional sale. I was about to spend $40 on it. You didn't need the promotional sale. Sorry. Let me drink water. Yum.
It's just absurd. And this gets even crazier when you hear Tales of Arise sells DLC as DLC. That's right. You can buy the premium travel pack, which gives you more effective
DLC,
and crafting, but also 30% off general store items.
I swear he said DLC as DLC. Is that just me?
Rise sells DLC as DLC. That's right. You can buy the
Yeah,
premium
DLC. He said DLC as DLC. Dang. Okay.
30% off general store items. Yes, you can spend real money to make further spending a little bit cheaper.
What?
People think this is a bargain because the developers also made everything really expensive in game. So instead of getting a discount, you're really just getting what the prices should be.
Okay, that's messed up.
Why Multiverse is shut down? Here's one of the reasons: the devs got stupidly
Oh,
greedy.
Joker.
You know how Jason Voorhees and Arya Stark from Game of Thrones are both in the game? Pretty cool, right? Not to mention you can play as both them for relatively cheap thanks to the battle passes and the free currencies, but this is where things got interesting. You can spend real money on costumes for these characters, and Multiverses came up with the most random collab of all. Arya with a Jason hockey.
What?
It's interesting.
That's stupid.
$30.
Goodbye.
You can't argue some of these
What?
offers.
What? Why? Why?
You
Okay.
can't argue some of these games have
That's-
just been overpriced rather than outright greedy, but when I show you what's in the first Ascendant...
Wait, did you? their usernames are just the characters, like "What's up, Doc," not Bruce Wayne. Those are kind of.
I don't think anyone will disagree. This is straight up theft. When you spend money on an outfit, you then unlock the ability to customize it through paint jobs. Except you then have to spend money on the color you want, and once you've applied it, it only works for that specific item. So if you want to add that same color on the head rather than the body, tough luck. You're gonna have to buy it all over again.
What?
One of the greediest things I've ever seen in a game. And in my opinion, so is League of Legends sanctum. Late last year, they introduced a way to get insanely rare skins through gacha. I know, but here's where it gets worse. Just like other gacha games like Genshin or Honkai Star Rail, you get a pity system where if you can't get the featured character after so many pulls, you're basically guaranteed to earn it. The problem is, League of Legends pity system, it's extra greedy. For a skin like Arcane Fractured Jinx, the chance of getting her is literally 0.5%.
What?
It's only guaranteed after 80 pulls. So that means some players have spent over $250 before they get her, which left fans furious. So a couple months.
Is that not just gambling?
Later in February, Riot heard all the backlash and were forced to make changes. Except the only changes were making the skin advertisements less invasive. Such a cringe situation. In more promising news, Black Ops 6 recently brought back a fan favorite mode for zombies called Grief. Basically, you have to outlast another team of players and can sabotage them with griefs, except with the new version, the developers let players use gobble gums. Yeah, and considering you could just spend a ton of real money on packs to grab the most overpowered gums, Grief has become a straight up pay-to-win mode. It just makes it way easier to last longer than enemies. And obviously, that's not the only way Activision has betrayed players. When the new Crash Team Racing was announced, people noticed there was an in-game.
See, basically, I was planning about the channel, and I was thinking, if I get it, I was gonna make a video on the finals, because it's free, it's a cool FPS game, it's not terribly inappropriate, so I can get it, you know. I'm so glad it is not a pay-to-win, because when I heard there were, because obviously, most free games, they have microtransactions. I'm so glad you can actually do stuff without spending money. And it is, like, I just love the way they do it in the finals. Like, you can just play the game and you'll get rewards. And, like, you will get rewarded for, like, pretty much just picking a color. And then you'll get cosmetics. And then, like, cosmetics are the only things you spend money on. Like, you don't spend money on, like, weapons and stuff. You get weapons by playing the game. And I just think that's way better than this.
Game store. And ask the devs, hey, these aren't microtransactions, are they? Luckily, they said no, and everything could be earned through simply playing the game. All was good. They released, Crash Team Racing got stellar reviews, and now they had their excited player base on board. So what'd they do? They broke their promise with the microtransaction update.
Oh my gosh.
Betrayal. Like, this is somehow worse than just dropping them on day one. Now it's just personal. It's just like when Persona 3 Reload came out and was meant to be the complete experience. People spent up to like $200 on this game with the collector's edition, assuming it would give them all of the content on offer. Then 1 month passes and Atlas dropped the expansion pass for $35. This included a ton of cut content that was in the original game, but now costs extra for Reload. It's just a shameless cash grab. What about when a company is so greedy it gets their CEO fired? Unity is a gigantic game.
Oh my gosh. Unity?
Made with it.
Hey.
In 2023, they announced a ridiculous change.
Forgot there was a game I really liked. It was made by Unity. Completely forgot what it is. I always mix up Ubisoft and Unity because they both start with U. It's an honest mistake. No, yeah, the people are not going to say that as an honest mistake. Honest enough. Okay. I always mix up Ubisoft and Unity. I don't know, what was that? When I think Unity, I just think Assassin's Creed Unity, so I'm not going to try and think about it.
Once you hit 200,000 installs in your game, Unity would charge you 20 cents for every single player afterwards. In a world where other engines like Unreal are trying to make things less expensive for developers, this was a huge middle finger to indie devs. Especially because a lot of people tend to uninstall and then reinstall their favorite games to make storage. So in response, studios like Facepunch, who make Rust and Gary's Mod, had a simple statement for Unity. You could get
oh my gosh!
A single text prompt. Need another angle?
Dang. Oh my gosh!
Simple statement for Unity. You could get the community
oh.
in flames about
dang. Gotta respect that. That is amazing.
Out this, and Unity immediately backtracked, going as far as the CEO resigning from the company.
Oh!
As a W. Speaking of terrible CEO,
I need to lie down for a bit. That one was. Oh, that was. Whew, that was pretty insane. Dang. Why? If Unity is such a big company, why did they need to do that? Well, let me just. There we go. I was changing the color on my PC. All right, let's go.
Goes back in 2011 from the company.
All right.
Take that as a W. Speaking of terrible CEOs, back in 2011, the boss of EA came out with the most outrageous microtransaction idea pretty much in the history of video games. He was talking about how you can make people think less about the price of something if they feel like they need it. And his example, when you're 6 hours in a battlefield and you run out of ammo in your clip and we ask you for $1 to reload, you're really not that price sensitive at that point in time. I'm not joking. He genuinely had ideas about charging people to reload in battle.
What?
Also, fun fact, this is the same guy from Unity. Gotta be the most out-of-touch game.
Wait.
Fun fact, genuinely had ideas about charging people to reload in Battlefield. Also, fun fact, this is the same guy from Unity. Gotta be the most out-of-touch gaming CEO of all time. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was the person who created Dead or Alive Season Pass. So not only is this a full-price game on its own, but if you wanted a Season Pass that only includes 2 brand
Caught me in the middle of a yawn. I'm awake again.
new characters, you'll have to dish out another, hang on, hold up for this one, you ready? $92. Like, it's literally more expensive.
What? The season pass is more expensive than Mario Kart World. Dang.
Hold up for this one, you ready?
4.25.
Like,
who gives that a 4.25?
more expensive than the game itself, and there's a new one every couple of months. Who's buying
What?
this?
That one's $80.
Unfortunately, they only get worse. Let's talk about this charm in Overwatch 2 that costs $7. Now, it's
What?
pretty standard for this kind of item, but in reality, it's closer to $10 because you could only buy like 500 or 1,000, not 700. Besides the point, considering no matter what, it's still more expensive than buying the charm in real life. I'm not exaggerating. You could go to Blizzard's own merch store right now and grab this exact same item as a keychain for just $5.
What?
Actually, more expensive than real life. Like, make it make sense. GTA Online. Nowadays, you look at shark cards and think, well, I don't really need to buy these. I could just grind a couple of heists and afford the cars I want. Wasn't the case back in 2014. A ton of people have forgotten about this, but shark cards were actually released before heists even existed. Rockstar wanted to keep players engaged before the update, and they needed some way to let them earn a ton of money without getting bored. So, they just offered to let them pay for it instead, and now it's actually one of the best-selling microtransactions in gaming history. If you know anything about this stuff, you'll know all of this began with the Horse Armor DLC in Oblivion. Literally the origin of microtransactions. Well, that came full circle when The Sims 4 announced their own DLC pack called Horse Riding. Fans have been wanting this expansion for like 7 years, and when it dropped, it cost $40.
Oh gosh.
You could barely interact with the horses other than riding them. Breeding was lackluster, and apparently there was better horse content in the last game.
Okay, wait.
Riding them, breeding was lackluster, and apparently there was better horse content in the last game's generic pets DLC than this.
What? Leave it to the internet to say the breeding of horses in a video game was lackluster. Oh my gosh.
This one dedicated to horses. I'm not exactly a businessman, but I will tell you one rule about business I do know. You don't charge for something that was previously free. It leaves a sour taste, and Disney does it anyway. In the racing game Speedstorm, you're able to unlock the premium part of the battle pass through in-game currency. Something you could just basically earn by playing. People loved it, and it was super refreshing after years of having to drop cash on battle passes. Then, out of nowhere, the devs announced that moving forward, premium tracks now had to be bought, and the option to grind from them banned. Thankfully, common sense players went straight to review bombing, and some people who bought the game in early access even asked for a refund. That's how they handle this. Remember earlier when I talked about EA thinking about charging you for reloading? Well, there's one developer who actually went through with something like this.
What?
If you wanted to start a new save game in Metal Gear Survive, or even just play again with a new character, guess what? This basic feature, it costs $10. And no, this isn't a free-to-play MMO where that would be believable. It's a $40 full-price game. What was the most egregious thing you saw in this video? Let me know in the comments. It's been Tommy.
Oh my gosh. Now, there was another one I wanted to react to. I don't know if there was another Greediest things. Oh yeah, Opera GX sounds, baby. So satisfying. Yeah. Greediest. Is there another one? Yeah, there was another one. Oh wait, I've already been watching this? What? Oh, really? Wait, I do. I don't know. Okay, looks like we'll have to find an alternative. This is the 25 secrets of video games. Cool. Let's do this, I guess.
Chase for business is literally what it says in the name. It is
Might regret
Chase
this.
for business.
No way! Really? Did not know.
Ever downloaded a mod that completely wrecked your PC? That's why
No.
I use WeMod. I've been using WeMod for a long time so that I don't have to grind in games.
Yeah.
WeMod's a trainer that lets you safely modify your favorite single player games
safely
so that they're easier
modify.
to play.
From an Easter
I did
egg
air
nobody
quotes, you can't see.
expected to something found after years, these are 25 secrets in video games. Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the most underrated games of 2021, and it's full of non-combat zones where you literally can't shoot. Well, if you're a psycho who loves to pull the trigger anyway, Star-Lord pulls out a different weapon.
It's me.
Over in Hitman Sapienza level,
I love doing
you can find a
finger guns.
note in the distance, which most players would ignore. It's just a decoration, right? But if you look even closer with the sniper rifle, there are 4 bells. Once you shoot them in order of their pitch, you have now doomed everyone on the ship.
Oh.
Gears of War 2 is just as
Yikes.
random, but you have to be playing on insane difficulty to unlock it. When you head to this room in Act 4, Chapter 5, there's a pillar in the center. It doesn't look shootable, right? Well, if you're wondering, yep, that's a toaster, and yes, it works.
Jeez.
Now in Spider-Man
Oh my
Miles Morales, there's so many iconic Easter eggs, but no one talks about Miles' neighbors. Outside his apartment building, you could use photo mode to look at the residence list and see Freddy and Jason covered in blood, and Buzz from Toy Story, and then Waldo, who is hidden underneath a different name. I just love the detail. Moving into Rise Son of Rome, you would never
That's
believe
pretty cool.
this game is from 2013. But graphics aside, it's also full of
Oh my
secrets. If you hop on the
gosh.
Scorpio in Chapter 7, and then fire at these 2 pillars,
You'll remember when I made the review of Black Flag, I said the graphics were really good for 2013. I forgot to put an image on screen. Turns out, there were actually some really good games in 2013. Look. Look at my sweet Opera GX, the finals theme. It's pretty cool. PS3 graphics. Look. PS3 graphics. They actually look really good. And it turns out, yeah, like I said, like the people and hair were kind of good. When I looked at some, it looked like usually people and hair were bad. Yeah, so I actually did not know how good PS3 games are. I completely did not realize that. I thought, because like I've played like on a PS3. Like I have a PS3. I honestly thought the graphics were way worse. I remembered this completely wrong. My bad. That part of the review is wrong. Seeing as we are, like, how far are we? We're like almost like what? I can't. There. Go there. Yeah. We are like 25 minutes in. You might not be here yet, so you might not be here to know that I made that mistake, and you're probably just going to be silently judging me. I'm sorry.
All of a sudden, a huge Emperor Nero will appear out of nowhere.
What?
This is so exciting! If you thought that was strange, I'm about to bring
What?
a Family Guy, so you already know it's about to get 10 times weirder.
Yep.
Back to the multiverse.
Whenever I watch any of these secrets, there's always Family Guy secrets, like the AFK ones. It's always Family Guy.
Wanted to make a farm realistic, so they threw in a cow being milked just a little too well.
Oh my gosh.
Now this is a reference to the show, but let's be honest, the joke is funny even without the context. But I especially love Starfield's insane attention to detail. On Mars, you can find a live counter of how many hours have gone by without an incident. It's a funny decoration for anyone who isn't a psycho. Now if you hate playing by the rules, you can easily pull out your gun and cause a huge scene only to look up and the counter has instantly reset to 0.
Okay, that's pretty fun.
Got a new update called The Last Stand and completely remade a classic survival map from the first game. This time around, though, every person who worked on the update got to add their own Easter egg. One of the best is hidden in an incredibly secret room that can only be accessed with a melee weapon. Hit the door repeatedly, and it'll break open, revealing a dead developer. This guy was so overworked too much, and he's surrounded by the credits of everyone who helped make the update.
Dang.
I guess you could say they left this guy for dead.
Left 4 Dead.
That was a little cringe. Let's move
2.
on to
He's
Matthew,
Left 4
which has
Dead
an
2.
amazing secret. In the Ark Society mission, you can find a side character who's a famous treasure hunter. This is Blake Nathaniel, who has enough power to command the butlers around, and that is exactly what you need. Use this disguise to lead the butler into the freezer and then lock him inside. He says,
exactly what happened to Cousin Winston.
which is a reference to Tomb Raider 2.
Oh.
Butler Winston in the freezer too. Not to mention, once you've done this again, you unlock a secret escape that lets you dolphin dive just like Lara Croft.
That's
Watch
pretty,
Dogs 2 has
that's pretty cool. Okay.
Lakeside Park. It's locked behind a gate, but once you get in there, you'll realize this is a parody of the famous Jeep. Maybe you're thinking it's a coincidence, right? Beat the heart.
That's like one of my favorite movies.
Another great scene involves the wedding dress in Super Mario Odyssey. It seems like a funny outfit to wear with no real consequences, but if you go up to Luigi while wearing it, he takes it seriously. Bro, you're getting married, and you didn't tell me? But first, we have to talk about Factor, the sponsor of today's video. Lately, I've been finding myself too busy to be eating healthy. The chopping, prepping, going to the grocery store, it's too much. And trust me when I say, you'll still get the flavor you deserve when eating.
Tommy Cam.
Choose how you want to eat, and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45
the chair's spinning on accident.
breakfast items like delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, and
that
potato
actually looks
bacon
pretty
egg
good.
breakfast skillets. Or for
I love
easy
this
breakfast
advertisement.
Try refreshing beverage options like cold pressed juices, shakes, and
$30. $30 to drink. You were the one that made the video on the greediest things. In video games. But $30 to drink?
I never thought I was a juice type of person, but not bad. You can also keep your energy up with lunch to go. Effortless, wholesome meals.
I don't think it
grain
needs...
bowls, and salads.
Why does the drink cost more than the meal? What? The drink is over 2 times more expensive than the grain bowl, ginger tofu, and Thai peanut sauce with quinoa, edamame, all that. It's over 2 times more expensive for where is it? Oh yeah, this apple kale wheatgrass juice is like almost 2 times as expensive as the full meal. Someone make that make sense, please. I dare you. Let me add a poll. Hold on, wait. No, add poll. I forgot how to add a poll. Wait, aha. Start a poll. Is that Okay. Yes. Yes. No. I'm too tired. There we go. No one's gonna answer that poll. I don't think anybody's watching YouTube right now.
Salad toppers that are ready to eat when you're on the go. No microwave required. If you're interested, make sure to go to factories that are ready to eat when you're on the go.
A salad topper. Oh, nope. Does not change anything.
If you're interested, make sure to go to factor75.com or click the link below and use code T5G50 to get 50% off.
T5G50.
But now, back to the video. FNAF Security Breach recently got a huge update, The Ruin. As you're exploring the abandoned plaza on your own, there's a scene where Cassie nearly gets crushed by an elevator, and her reaction might sound familiar.
That was too close. I was almost a Cassie sandwich.
If you played Resident Evil, you'll know exactly what this is referencing.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
That's still not as funny as Crisis 2's Porta Potty. In the remaster, you can find this portable toilet, which is impressively bulletproof. It doesn't mean it's not occupied, though. Come on, leave me alone! So now if you're feeling extra cruel, you can even take this a step further. I'm gonna find you! I just messed up. That's unlike Gears of War 5, which has a super relaxing Easter egg. If you wait long enough on this balcony in Act 2, you'll eventually see the world's tiniest ice skating routine.
What?
One of the smartest ways to stop people leaving the map is through hidden enemies.
High on Life is always also on here. What the?
Yeah, not the kind of sandworm I was expecting. I can't tell if it's crying like a baby or if they're trying to do the voice from Dune.
5-minute ad. Dang.
But over in Shadow Complex, the entire game has you on a rescue mission to save your girlfriend. She gets abducted near the start, and you gotta track her down. But right after that cutscene happens, you technically don't have to save her. I mean, just turn around, right? Head back to your car, and you'll unlock a secret ending where you basically admit it's not your problem.
Plenty of fish in the sea.
Oh.
One of the strangest secrets is in Brothers in Arms Highway. In Chapter 4, there's a wall covered in bottles, and once you shoot all 5, it will summon your very own army of sheep. The best part is they're really dedicated to taking down enemies.
Oh.
Another explosive character is in the Suffering Ties That Bind. For a psychological horror, it's the last place you'd expect to find this Easter egg. If you head into the pawn shop bloody bathroom, there's a series of objects you can interact with, kind of like a cheat code. Whether it's flicking the lights or turning on the sink, once the code is activated, nothing happens. Well, it's until later in the level when you see a cracked wall. Anyway, man, if he was 70 years old and an alcoholic. And yes, you do get a reward for killing him, his cocktail stick. And trust me, this thing is insane. I think everyone could get...
Okay, that was, that was interesting. Alright, wait, hold up. So, I need to take a quick break real quick. I need to take a quick break. 1 minute. Hold up. Let me take a break. Okay. That's... oh my gosh.
Behind a SpongeBob reference every now and then. One of my favorite Easter eggs is his idle animation in Truth or Square. But it's not just SpongeBob games where you'll find a secret. Head to the graveyard in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and you'll find a skeleton with a soda hat on. Of course, this is a reference to Smitty Werberman Jensen, who was buried with a similar hat.
He was #1.
Another underrated secret is in Black Ops 2. It has been so long since this game released that no one remembers the...
I'm so cold. I gotta keep up. Do I have anything in my room? Really? Oh, I have a jacket. Let's use this as a blankie, I guess. There we go. It doesn't really do anything, but it's just... I don't know. Alright.
Simpsons Easter egg on Meltdown. Of course, this map is a power plant, and when you head to the control room, you'll find Homer's famous box of pink donuts on the panel. Now we have LEGO Marvel's Avengers, a game that went totally under the radar, along with its details. If you pick the Hulk, you'll transform like this, which is to be expected, unless...
Not under the radar for me at all. My childhood thrives on the Lego Marvel Superheroes games.
You picked the 1977 version. Now his transformation is a layer of spray paint.
This was in another video.
Low budget. And to make it even better,
What?
it then gets hosed down by Stan Lee. And did you know that you could beat We Happy Few in literally 2 minutes? This game's story is all about not taking your pills, but you can just ignore that and swallow them down at the very beginning, and boom, roll credits. If you choose to actually play
I
the
like that
games
game.
out, though,
I haven't
check
watched
out
the
Sin
playthrough in a
episodes.
while.
Head down to the security room and use the desk to climb over the fence. Most people would have no idea you could do this, but there's no invisible wall. You can just walk right over. We'll turn the corner and you're rewarded with bobbleheads. It is the whole main cast vibing while staring right at ya. And this really reminds me of one of the best secrets in Team Fortress 2. On the Rotunda map, you can find an exit door that's sealed shut. Well, that's unless you enable no-clip and head straight through. Who would have thought a blue heavy and red engineer would get along so well? Another secret that was found outside the map is in the Talos Principles DLC. Use this box, which looks suspiciously like a companion cube, and you can jump into a secret area. Up these stairs, you can now peek over the wall to find a turret from Portal. Those are secrets in video games. It's been Tommy and Keep It here on T5.
Alright. That was interesting. I spent the last minute of that video just trying to get this hoodie on. The sleeves are inside out. So, once I get this hoodie on, we were going to watch the final video. Maybe I'll watch another one, depending on how I'm feeling. Depending on how long this has been. If it's been a while, then I'll stop there, but just... Jeez. Okay. Let's go. Okay. I accidentally just put it on. I put it on backwards. Oh my gosh, this is... Oh, it's getting all on here. Okay. Alright. 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 Okay. What's on? It's one of these full zip up hoodie. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's one of these full zip up hoodies. I might fully zip it up just get really comfy. Alright. What's next? 20 things developers didn't think anyone would find. Or video games that... Wait. Because the ones... I really like the videos of them roasting YouTubers. But I'm going to do this for a change.
This game, you're not ready for it.
I actually am.
Absolutely trolling themselves to a secret jab at DC. These are
Oh, that's not very secret.
From a dev absolutely trolling themselves to a secret
It's not secret.
jab at DC. These are things developers didn't want you to find. And I gotta start with the creators of
Oh my
Warface
gosh.
Breakout, who were having a horrible day when they created this locked door. Fans speculated for weeks what could be hiding inside until one day the cage around it disappeared. Now you can activate the C4 on the wall and blow up the door, revealing the devs just hated us this whole time. But there's a feature Bethesda never expected us to find.
Well, wouldn't that be an Easter egg? Da-da-da-da-da. I know I just took like 2 breaks back to back, but I need to take another one because I am starving. Actually, no, we don't need a break. We're doing old-fashioned. We don't need break. We don't do break. You're just gonna go sit here while I go and grab a snack. I will see you soon. I'm back. Hello. What is up?
And it happened within days of Skyrim's release. One of the best mechanics lets you pick up any object, and people started to play around with this until they eventually found the bucket. That's when they tried to throw it onto an NPC's head, and it actually fit. Already pretty funny, but the craziest part is that it blocked their eyesight, so you could rob them without any consequences, and even Bethesda never planned for this one.
No one thought to do that. All our QA, all the hundreds of hours, thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of hours in the run.
But you can seriously annoy the devs of Dead Rising 2, and all it takes is a ping pong ball. During the fight against TK's helicopter, you gotta throw objects at it to bring it down. It's the only way to beat it, and you can't just pull out a rifle because it won't deal any damage. Well, it turns out if you use the worst item in the game, a ping pong launcher, it completely destroys the helicopter. The developers tried to troll us by making it a useless item, only for it to backfire massively. And players had to get extra creative in Infra when they found a broken walkway that was impossible to jump across. You're meant to fall down and continue with the game, but some players wouldn't let this go. They just had to know what was on the other side. So they loaded in cheats and no-clipped over the walk.
I'm so dumb. I probably would have just spent like 2 hours trying to get to the other side. That's how stupid I am. I spent 2 hours just looking around. Like, what do I do?
Leading them to some drunk teddy bears and a message from a developer. Already pretty awesome, but the best part is another dev who came across the message and fixed the guy's spelling. And while we're on the topic of mistakes, Oblivion has some of the funniest in all of gaming. The NPCs have so many lines of dialogue that even the devs lost track of them. So whenever talking to one, there's a small chance the actors will mess the lines up.
I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again.
And that's not the only mistake that became iconic.
Wait.
Wait a minute, let me do that one again.
And that's not the only mistake that became iconic. If I asked you to name one item from PUBG, most people would instantly say the frying pan. It's basically the game's mascot at this point, all because of an insane feature that was never meant to happen. So when PUBG released in early access, the devs wanted to let you hit grenades like a baseball bat, so they gave the frying pan collision. Well, this was a big mistake because as soon as this was added, players would wear the pan on their backs and become completely bulletproof.
One bullet, that's all you get. Oh my god!
In fact, people were so in love with this idea, the studio was terrified of changing it, so it's still in the game to this day. Although thanks to a weird turn and Deliver Us the Moon, but honestly, this one's kinda your own fault. Look, if you go into the bathroom of any game, the last thing you try to do is to see who's pooping in there. Yet some people genuinely pulled out the drone cam just to look inside these stalls. What? The creators wanted to punish anyone for being a total creep, and that's why you'll find the devs' face staring right back at you. But something rare happened in the original Stanley Parable, and usually this game breaks the fourth wall constantly. It seemed like they planned for everything, but that was until players jumped down from the mind control facility. Expecting a joke like every other path, they sat down here and nothing happened. We finally found a place you weren't meant to go. Now obviously the devs couldn't let this slide, so in the deluxe edition you could drop down here and be gifted with an exclusive message.
It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special.
Used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending.
But let me nerd out real quick because Spider-Man PS4 has one of the most underrated Easter eggs out there. Now everyone always talks about the Avengers Tower or Daredevil's office, but all
wait, what?
Now everyone always talks about the Avengers.
Well, the Avengers Tower is not a secret. You can climb up of it. You can climb up. That's not a secret.
Tower or Daredevil.
Now that I did not know. I didn't find that. That was sick.
But all of these make sense because it's the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
So what if I told you there's actually a place from DC? Inside of the city, you can find a...
Oh my gosh. That's the thing you teased in the intro. No, I muted it! Sorry.
Inside of the city, you can find a store with a sideways logo that says Trust Us League. If it wasn't already an obvious jab at the Justice League, the logo's also basically identical. Not to mention, before the game even dropped, fans noticed a billboard for the Trust Us League that only appeared for a split second. So it seems like Insomniac was trying to keep this one quiet. I gotta admit, Splitgate was a promising game that did a lot of things
that
right.
Batman one does not exist.
Were a little weird. In the Abyss level, you can disable invisible walls around the map, and this led to a strange discovery hiding inside the cliffs. For some reason, you can look into the tunnels and find a dancing goblin who looks straight out of the 90s. Unfortunately, the devs abandoned this game in 2022, so we'll probably never even get an explanation for why this was added. But there is a classic that's coming back because Quake 2 is getting a remaster, and hopefully Bethesda keeps in the iconic troll. In the original, you could glitch out of bounds by rocket jumping, which led you straight to a power-up. The devs were finally rewarding us for thinking outside the box, but okay, that hurts a little. If I had to give a prime example of something devs didn't want you to uncover, it would be this secret in PGA Tour 99. It's a simple sports game and not much can go wrong, except for one mistake that got...
Really? Splitgate 2? Hey, we were just talking about Splitgate game.
A developer fired and cost EA millions. While making the game, a developer left a placeholder file on the disk. Now, obviously, you don't expect people to get a PlayStation game and to pop it in their laptop, except one mom did, and she found ZZ Dummy, a file containing a secret episode of South Park. This caused the entire game's age rating to skyrocket, with EA pulling every single copy off the shelves. A little more of a PG-rated mistake can be found in Crash Team Racing. While playing as Penta Penguin, there's a chance you'll hear an unfinished voice line.
Penguin too?
Instead of an adorable penguin, it's just some monotone dude. Like, he could have at least been excited about it. Now, obviously, this was only meant to be a placeholder that accidentally made it in, but when the devs remade it in 2019, Penta Penguin had new voice lines. Now look, I think we've all watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and thought it was easy until you actually play the game and realize you're horrible at it. Well, if you were playing the 2006 PC version, not only would you feel bad for sucking, there were also secret voice lines that caused the host to roast you.
But if you don't know the answer, it's your choice. Me, you were thick. You didn't.
Oh my god, what?
To be in the game is Enrage, although it wasn't really intended for us.
They said that?
In Subway Town, you could follow a massive tunnel system that eventually leads you to a dead end.
There's no way.
Most people would turn up.
What's that game? Wait. Game. No. Game age. E. And they put that in.
Around, but if you twist the valve, it opens up a secret door, revealing the wall of developer signatures. This was probably left by the team to celebrate working on the game.
That is
I'm
pretty
just
cool.
happy someone actually found it.
That is pretty cool.
I absolutely love when devs add secrets like that, but sometimes they're not
Goat Simulator.
nice. In Goat Simulator, if for some reason you swim far out into the ocean, you'll come across Dev Island. Everyone here is partying instead of working on the game, and if you're not a big fan of that, just shoot the cannon at them.
Oh.
They're also making it rain with money and filling pools with wine, so I gotta respect it. Not everything out there works in the devs' favor, though. Resident Evil Code Veronica has a knife that's honestly pretty bad. That's until you aim down, and I'm not kidding, simply looking at the floor while attacking makes this thing do triple damage, and no one has any idea why. It makes the experience way too easy, and obviously Capcom wasn't too happy about it. One place I'd expect to find an Easter egg is in Fortnite, but I never thought the devs would leave in something so R-rated. Before Epic Games got The Rock to record his lines, they made placeholders of their own, and one of them is absolutely hilarious.
I need to start the containment process now.
Now let's talk about Shrek Extra Large. I know it sounds random, but this game includes one of the most unexplained secrets out there. In the GameCube version, if you try to no-clip out of the map, there's a good chance you'll fall into the void. I wouldn't recommend doing this because the developers will now be mad at you and trap you inside console prison. Yeah, you're now in a one-to-one replica of a GameCube, and there is no way out. Even the pause menu is disabled, and your only option left is to reset the console. And those were things that devs didn't want you to find.
That is pretty cool. Alright, so how much time has this been? Get back there! Okay. There we go. It's almost been an hour, so let's watch one final video. Let's do T5G roast. The ones about games roasting people. Those ones are always funny. Okay, these I don't know what to do. Okay. Yeah, sure, why not? Start from where I was, I guess, or should we restart?
Pick up a briefcase. From
Sure.
Halo taking shots at their own game
Alright.
to a secret roast from Rockstar, these
Yeah,
are
I
20
don't remember this.
videos that
Okay.
told themselves. E3 showcases
We're
always have
good.
the chance to blow us away, and when Naughty Dog revealed Uncharted 4 for the first time, they decided to do it live.
Oh,
Except there's
yeah,
only
yeah.
one problem.
Yeah, I know
The
this.
controller stopped working, and as the cutscene ended, millions of people were now staring at an idle
Yeah, I know
animation.
this. Yeah.
went on for almost a
This was
minute,
in
which
another
is
video.
extremely embarrassing, but a year later, Naughty Dog paid homage to this mistake by making
They
fun
repeat
of
some stuff.
themselves. If you go to the level in Uncharted 4 and stay still just like the E3 demo, after a few minutes, you'll get the stage fright trophy. Still not as embarrassing as
Background
Resident
music is
Evil's
fire.
infamous welcome party. While playing the original game, you'd enter the office and see a blue banner on the desk reading "Welcome, Leon."
Wait.
Then classic is Silent Hill 2 and see a blue and Neo. After a few minutes, you'll get this. While playing the original game, you'd enter the office and see a blue banner on the desk reading "Welcome, Leon."
The background music
Yeah,
is.
that's totally not how you spell it, but it was obviously
Look, listen to the background
welcome
music.
Party. While playing the original game, you'd enter the office and see a blue banner on the desk reading "Welcome, Leon." Yeah, that's
really
totally
good.
not how you spell it, but it was obviously an innocent translation error. So when Capcom dropped RE2's remake, you just know they had to include this as an Easter egg. When you enter the office this time, it's spelled correctly, but there's a pretty big gap between the L and the C. Then if you look on the desk, you'll see the extra L to take you down at the last minute.
Okay, that's
classic
good.
is Silent Hill 2, and you spend most of this game playing as James Sunderland, who's kind of a sicko. At one point, you explore abandoned apartments, and James goes into one only to stick his arm down the toilet without hesitation.
What?
Players were
Why?
absolutely disgusted by this, leading Konami to reference it inside the next game. Now the protagonist was Heather, and you could unlock a cutscene that only happened if you had the save data from Silent Hill 2.
Get it. This is way too gross.
And I love how many secrets are hidden across Hitman, but none of them are quite as self-aware as this one.
Chair
When
lowered.
the game first released, players realized they could pick up a briefcase and use it as a weapon. While you can throw most things at people in Hitman, this briefcase was extra special. It would literally never miss, chasing enemies around in circles, locking on no matter what. Now, obviously, this was just a bug, but the community loved it so much, the devs brought it back in the sequel, calling it the Executive Briefcase Mark II. And look,
Yeah,
Fortnite's
that was
not
also
as
in another
popular as
video.
It used to be, but it is still massive. And despite this, every day the devs look on social media to see thousands of comments saying Fortnite's a dead game. Eventually, they just had to acknowledge it. One day, they surprised everyone with a tweet: reads comments, designs outfit, only to drop Veronica a starter pack with dead game right on her t-shirt. Hey, if you're gonna get roasted, you might as well profit from it. From players roasting the game to NPCs doing it, Halo 5 Guardians includes a couple characters with an amazing troll. During the Alliance mission, you'll find an elite and grunt on the edge of a cliff, and if you sneak up to them, you'll get to eavesdrop on their conversation. They reminisce on the good old days of Halo when the graphics were bad and the gameplay was simple.
So, how come do you think your stuff looks different sometimes? I mean, the guns or the arbiter. Maybe just my eyes getting smarter, but I swear sometimes it's like there's a whole spaceship is different. Nobody says anything.
Now, sometimes the devs know better than the players, and that's exactly what happened in Devil May Cry's reboot. Ninja Theory decided to change up Dante's design, giving him a totally new haircut. The only problem, the backlash for the community was absolutely insane. Nobody wanted this new hair, and fair enough, it was a drastic change, but Ninja Theory doubled down. They decided to show everyone just how ridiculous their original hairstyle was with a cutscene.
Not in a million years.
Fans were really surprised to see a reference to the disappointing ending of Fable 2. You had to spend countless hours getting to the final boss, and as he prepares his villain monologue, you brace yourself for an epic fight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to kill him?
Now, this was one of the most underwhelming moments in gaming history. Fans were so upset that the devs knew they had to address it with Fable 3. In one of the side quests, you play a board game only to strike down the Big Red Baron with a single hit. Even the characters aren't too happy about this one.
What kind of rubbish game lets you kill the villain in one blow?
Roasting yourself is one thing, but trolling your fellow dev team is next level. In Hitman Blood Money, you can pick up a kitchen crate and view it in your inventory, except there's a little something off about the description. All it says is, Alan, please add details. Yeah, it looks like Alan forgot to do his job, and now players all around the world can see his mistake. But the devs found this so hilarious that they turned it into a running gag in the sequels, continuing to ask Alan for details. There was a post-it note on a computer, a firing range Easter egg, but the absolute best one was in the remastered trilogy. Instead of using the original crate, they changed it to say, any details yet, Alan? And this was years after he had already left the Hitman dev team. But you really gotta feel for the developers of Crash Bandicoot, because when Twin Sanity came out,
Wonder if he
it was
left when he
following
did
up
that.
really poor sales from their last game. This led them to make a cutscene where Cortex is surrounded by penguins, and it turns out he owes them a lot of money.
Penguins.
The reason behind this is hilarious.
Well, the past few years have kind of been slow. Wrath of Cortex didn't do as well as we'd hoped, and... Fish?
And Guacamelee 2 also makes fun of themselves, but it's in
Guacamelee!
a creative way. During the first game, people complained about the posters. Even though they were all unique and had cool messages, there was just way too many of them. So when the sequel dropped, you could find a cave that was dangerously dank, and inside there were tons of new meme posters and jokes that fans hated. To make it even funnier, the devs added NPCs that just quoted all the hate comments over and over again. You gotta love when writing NPCs that posters and jokes that fans hated. To make it even funnier, the devs added NPCs that just quoted all
Wasn't Guacamelee the game with it?
the hate comments over and over again. You gotta love when writers are this self-aware, and Evil Within 2 also does it perfectly. It's a pretty serious game, especially with the horror atmosphere, so it's basically the last place you'd expect to find a terrible pun.
I've heard this music
I
before.
wasn't going to leave this place. It's evil out there.
That may be, but there's evil within, too.
A character who's destined to break the fourth wall is Deadpool, so when he finally got his own video game, he was really excited to get started. Well, that's until the script arrived at his door, causing him to roast the writers.
As I suspected. Words. Everywhere. Lame.
But if we're on the topic of trolling, Bethesda has a reoccurring character that does it extremely well. Maik appears in tons of Elder Scrolls games and always has some kind of joke about what's happening.
What does this mean to combine magic? Magic plus magic is still magic. Maik is tired now. Go bother somebody else.
But it's still not as interesting as the legend of Red Dead Redemption's Donkey Lady. For some reason, this woman could be walking around in fields, and the weirdest part was that you could actually ride her as a vehicle.
What?
Probably the strangest glitch of all time, considering how well the animations work, not to mention her half-donkey, half-human face. Fast forward almost a decade later to Red Dead 2, and it turns out the legend of Donkey Lady went viral, causing the devs to poke fun at themselves. You can now find Donkey Lady's remains in the sequel. The only problem is that Red Dead 2 is actually a prequel, implying she's been a ghost the whole time. And I just gotta say, it is super clever to make a whole storyline just to cover up a glitch. It's crazy seeing the jump in graphics between those games, and another franchise with major upgrades is Metal Gear Solid. For years, the series was on PlayStation 1, and midway through the game, you actually had to swap from one disc to the next one. Now, this was really annoying, and by the time the PS3 came out, the devs completely agreed.
Hold it, Snake. Time to change the disc. I know, it's a pain. Oh, wait. We're on PlayStation 3. No need to swap.
Now, there was no need to roast themselves like that, but I think Blizzard might have them beat with Diablo 3. When they first announced the game, fans went in on the devs, calling the art style too cartoony, and when they first announced the game, fans went in on the devs, calling the
what I waited 8 years for, what I expected, what I got.
Art style too cartoony, and instead of ignoring them, Blizzard decided to double down. You can now find a secret level called Whimsyshire with the cartoons dialed to the max with rainbows and unicorns. And in GTA 5, you can be randomly driving around, and you might hear an ad on the radio that sounds like a familiar game.
It's Digifactory Farm.
Ha-ha! I just slaughtered 10,000 cows! I'm a tiny pixel gangster!
Drive a tiny digital sports car. Increase the length and girth of your...
Now, originally they were making fun of mobile games, but I gotta say this didn't age too well. And over in GTA 3, you can also find a middle finger to Rockstar. There's a scrap stadium plastered with the Rockstar logo, and inside you'll find the Liberty City... yeah, not the best name. In a Spider-Man PS4, everyone was so distracted by swinging around that no one paid attention to what was outside the map. The devs were hoping it'd go unnoticed, but if you went into photo mode and looked at the distant NPCs, they were absolutely horrifying. Embarrassed by this, Insomniac decided to embrace the joke in the remaster. If you go back to these boats, they're still creepy as ever, but now they have a post-it note saying, "Did you miss us?" Those were 20 games that roasted themselves. It's been...
What? We'll wrap it up for this stream. Thank you. Thank you for watching, I guess. So, yeah, and, oh, wait, hold up, wait, I have to respond. Hold up. Never mind. I don't think it's possible to respond. But anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching this. It has probably been painful, especially that first video. That first video really, I can still feel that. Anyways, goodbye. Until next stream or video or whatever comes next, I guess. Until next content.